Welcome inside the Special Events Center in Honolulu, Hawaii, where the number 3 ranked Kansas Jayhawks take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Kansas in with 1 loss and 14 wins. The Buckeyes 7 wins, 3 losses. This is the second day of first-round action in the Rainbow Classic. Yesterday, Nebraska and Hawaii winners in a game preceding this one. Vanderbilt, the winner over New Mexico State, awaiting the winner of this one between Ohio State and Kansas. Hi again, everyone, with Larry Conley, Dwayne Stats, and welcome to Honolulu. Well, you've heard by now, Kansas, without their Player of the Year candidate, Raef LaFrentz. He has a broken right hand sustained in practice here Friday. And Larry, the question is now, what do the Jayhawks do?
When they go to their backup center, Eric Chenoweth, a young man, a freshman out of the state of California, performed very well against Southern Cal in his first start this past weekend. He's the guy they really need to have some strong rebounding on the inside. They've got Lester Earl in the lineup tonight. I think principally because they're looking for some more support off of that glass.
Larry, the Buckeyes are in a rebuilding mode, but what better place to start than the most prolific scoring freshman in the nation in Michael Redd?
You know, there's a great group of freshmen in this country this year, scorers, but this guy might be the best. Look at this reversal with the left hand off of the glass. He can do more than just that. Yes, he puts it on the floor, but look at this great shot from beyond the three-point line. He has everything you want in a player. He's got size, physique, stamina, strength, a lot of energy, and he's an outstanding defender.
But in store tonight from the Rainbow Classic, it will be Kansas against Ohio State, and with LaFrentz out, the Jayhawks will ask their 6'7" junior Paul Pierce to step it up. He's averaging just under 20 points a game. Tip-off is coming up from
Station of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Back at Honolulu, we are all set. Ohio State and Kansas squaring off to wrap up the first round of play. The Ohio State starting lineup. Keep an eye on Carlos Davis out front with Michael Redd. Davis at the point has never played point guard before this year. And for Kansas, Lester Earl, the latest addition, an insertion into the starting lineup as they try to get a little more beef with LaFrentz out of the lineup. We're set to go. Johnson jumping center against Earl, and Kansas with the opening tip. Eric Chenoweth.
Jim O'Brien said today we're going to play a lot of zone.
And the first shot of the game, Earl, but he traveled with the basketball, and Ohio State will get it right back. Roy Williams, 10 years, 261 wins at Kansas. Out of North Carolina in 1972, spent 10 years with Dean Smith there. Ohio State with a basketball. Davis a little trouble and loses the ball, and that's something we might keep an eye on because of his background. Again, a new position for Carlos Davis.
Well, 2 possessions, 2 turnovers by both clubs.
Chenoweth making his second start. He got to start his last time out, his first of his young career against Southern California. They swing it to Robertson. He'll jump it. This is a 3 attempt, not going to go. Davis with the rebound.
Rare miss out there for that young man. He's shooting 51% from beyond that 3-point line. Kansas in a man-to-man defense.
Underneath, and a turnaround by Johnson. It rolls off, will not go. The loose ball headed for the corner, and it's going to belong to Kansas.
Dwayne, one of the things Jim O'Brien told me at the shoot-around today, he said, we're going to play a lot of zone. He said, you'll see a triangle and 2 out of us, and we'll match up. And we'll also do a box and chaser whenever Paul Pierce is out there.
First year at Ohio State after a lengthy stay at Boston College, and a great opportunity for both the Buckeyes and O'Brien. In the early stages, they have made a great match. Robertson over to Thomas. Thomas, the legitimate outside threat. There's a ball fake, and the shot going to go. Will not drop for him. Headed across the baseline, saved by Earl between his legs. What an acrobatic and athletic performance that was. And here's Pierce missing a shot from outside. Ball stripped from Thomas. This is
Nice pass. Oh, look at that block.
And that ball is blocked. Sanderson has his shot rejected.
Lester Earl blocked it and kept right on going. See if he's all right. Yeah, he's coming back.
Finds his way back in.
Oh, what an effort. Watch this follow-up now. They've got the good break. Look at that rejection. He kept right on going, right over the table.
You talk about a lively body. That describes Earl.
Oh, does he? He's got great hops. His legs, he's very, very quick to that basket, as you can just see.
Pierce has the ball slapped away, picked up by Ken Johnson. Now ahead, Singleton. It rolls off. And a whistle. That ball will go the other way.
Well, neither club getting anything done right now. I don't know if it's a condition of nerves on the part of these two teams or what it is, but we've had turnovers and all the shots have been missed.
Roy Williams playing without Rafe LaFrentz, and they figure to be without LaFrentz for 6 to 8 weeks. That's the initial prognosis. Ryan Robertson.
State in that 1-3-1 matchup zone. Davis on the point.
Thomas right back to Pierce, who takes it down and pops from 12. Rolls off, will not go. And Michael Redd with a rebound. Redd not only averaging just under 24 points a game, but over 7 rebounds a game from that guard position to lead Ohio State. There's a turnover intercepted by Pierce. A 2-on-1, but Pierce dropped it. Now picks it up to Thomas, who lays it up and in.
Nice
Almost
job.
blew the 2-on-1.
Yeah, Pierce got it back, though. Was able to get his composure, got it back inside, and got our first 2 points of the game after about 2:45 of play.
Carlos Davis, the senior out of Columbus, Ohio. Singleton inside, and it's good. Jason Singleton, he's a junior from Detroit. First bucket for Ohio State. This one knocked away by Davis. Davis headed to the bucket and gets the dunk. Davis on the steal, converts it into 2. Quickly into the front court. Chenoweth swings it to Thomas.
Zone packed back on the inside. They'll follow Pierce. That's the guy they want to kind of key on. He and Billy Thomas, particularly from the outside.
Earl looking underneath for the big freshman who mishandles the ball out of bounds, and the Buckeyes will get it back.
You know, Dwayne, we may be seeing signs already of the absence of Rafe LaFrentz and what it has done to this basketball team. You can see him sitting there with a cast on his right hand. You can see that finger with that splint coming all the way up on his index finger.
Johnson has the ball knocked away. Earl out of there with the loose ball. A 2-on-1 advantage, and it's broken up by Davis. A pass ahead to Singleton. 3 defenders back, however, for Kansas. And into the backcourt, the pass from Singleton behind Redd. And Kansas will get the basketball. So some ragged play in the early moments of this game, with Ohio State holding a 4-2 lead on Kansas.
This guy's been on too many luau's while they've been over here.
Eric Chenoweth will do the inbounding. Chenoweth, the fellow who broke LaFrent's right hand in practice. Robertson on the right side, reverses back the other side now.
Pretty active zone by the Buckeyes.
Pierce inside looking for room, and that ball's knocked away. I think Davis got
Carlos
a hand on
Davis,
it.
yes, he did. Some defense befuddling Kansas a little bit right now. Packing it back in there, making it difficult to get anything on the inside and recovering quickly on the outside.
Davis a quick pass to Singleton, but the defense recovered. But here's a whistle. The foul coming against Kansas. Charge it to Eric Chenoweth. That's the first team foul, and we'll send Jason Singleton to the line. This is one thing Ohio State has not done very well this year, shooting just 56% from the line, and Singleton is 13 out of 37, now 13 out of 38.
And that, as you saw those percentages up there, 54%, and the number just went down. Go ahead, you get back and reinforce the point I was making earlier about the absence of Rafe LaFrentz. You know, it takes a club a long time to get adjusted to losing a guy like him. I mean, he could have been player of the year had he been able to stay around.
And we have a timeout on the floor with 15:37 to play in the half. Ohio State 4, Kansas 2. The Kansas Jayhawks playing without Rafe LaFrentz, and earlier today we talked with Roy Williams about the adjustments they'll have to make.
Short term, it might be a little easier because everybody's going to give a little more emphasis on the right things, so everybody's got to elevate their play a little bit. Long term, it's when it's more difficult, but we've got to be better defensively. We've got to play even more intelligently than we always try to play, and got to stay out of foul trouble. May even see Kansas play more zone than Roy Williams has ever played.
And with LaFrentz out of there, we've seen Lester Earl inserted into the starting lineup tonight, and Eric Chenoweth, the 7-foot freshman out of Villa Park, California, get his second start. Ball belongs to Ohio State, and off the inbound Singleton converts.
Wait, I was going to say, it's not just the points and the rebounds that they miss. They also miss his leadership, his presence on the floor. Roy Williams talked a lot about defense in there, and Rafael LaFrentz was really the anchor on that defense. You had to adjust your shot if you went into that paint with him being there.
Earl has it rejected by Johnson, but picks it up. Now loose inside. Johnson again on a block. Pierce tried to put it up, and Ken Johnson only played organized basketball since he was a sophomore in high school, still learning the game. He's made some great plays.
Look at Ken Johnson. He gets back-to-back blocks. That's one. Then the ball goes back to the inside. He comes right back. Talk about making people adjust shots. Ken Johnson just made Kansas adjust too.
This one will not go down. Johnson keeps it alive, but Kansas out of there with a basketball. Robertson quickly down the left lane. Back out front for Pierce. Nick Bradford in the ballgame now. Here's Thomas. And Thomas hits.
That's not surprising. He's shooting 42% from beyond that line. This guy's a great three-point shooter.
That makes it a one-point game, 6-5 off the three. Sanderson, this one knocked out of bounds by Thomas, who got a hand on it.
A little bit more active on the defensive end. I think maybe coming out of that timeout, Roy Williams had passed a few messages onto his club. They need to pick up that defensive intensity.
Inbound to Red. Sanderson. Michael Red. Singleton finds him to the bucket and in.
Dwayne, that's something they worked on a lot today in their shoot around, is backdoor cuts off of that Kansas wing pressure.
Bradford.
Nice pass.
Pierce, and Pierce will get the bucket and pick up the rebound as well.
Boy,
Will send him to the line.
Give that sophomore from Fayetteville, Arkansas, Nick Bradford, a lot of credit. That was a great move down inside, giving it up just at the right time. Watch this. Good defense by Ohio State. Watch Pierce make the roll down inside. Bradford with a little shovel pass down in there, and there's the foul. One of the things you'll notice about Ohio State tonight, they don't play a lot of people. 6, and that's about it.
Pierce will not get it to drop. The foul on Singleton, his first. Buckeyes back with the basketball. Carlos Davis. Inside, a quick pass for Red, who misses the shot. Bradford with a rebound. Robertson looking. There's Thomas. Outside now, comes down to the baseline. Count it. Willie Thomas, the senior out of Shreveport.
Not often you see him take the ball hard to the basket, but he did that time. Pulled up and had a nice little 6-foot shot.
He has 7 points. 7 of the 9 for Kansas. The shot not going to go. Kept alive out front, and it's picked up by Davis. A 1-point game. Kansas grabbing a 9-8 advantage. Davis almost found himself up with no place to go as Red comes in, and we're going to go the other way. Red trying to force his way inside. He's going to pick up an offensive foul.
Red seems a little bit out of sync to start this game. I think the Kansas defense is really focusing on him, making sure he doesn't get untracked. A guy that's averaging 24 points a game, or nearly 24. You know they're going to try to shut him down because he is really the only scorer they have.
He's had 20 points in 9 of the 10 Buckeye games this year. This is Thomas again for 3. Will not go this time. Sanderson with a rebound. Red. Ohio State looking for help across the front line. They're in pretty good shape in the backcourt with Red and Davis. Although Davis playing at the point guard position. A new position for him. They're looking for development from the front line. There's a pass from Singleton, nowhere to go. Behind Red, and the turnover gives it back to Kansas. Ryan Robertson directing the show for the Jayhawks. Down to the corner, Bradford out of there. Not going to go, and Sanderson with another rebound. Sanderson, the freshman out of Lexington, Ohio.
They really depend on he and Johnson to do everything they can inside to help those 3 guys outside who are the scorers.
And Johnson with that little baby hook he's been working on, but it will not go for him. Chenoweth down with the ball. Robertson again to the corner. Pierce hangs up. The shot's not going to go. Save from going out of bounds. Singleton saved it. Davis. The bounce pass, Red keeps it alive against three defenders and finds Johnson. Wow, Red in heavy traffic.
2 plays, not only keeping the ball alive, keeping his dribble alive, and then making the great pass. Oh, Michael Red showing you some great maneuverability in the paint right there. Kansas had good defense. He was able to get through it, around it, and make a terrific pass.
Kansas will have the basketball after this timeout, with Ohio State grabbing a 10-9 lead. And here's that play on Rainbow Classic. National Car Rentals Bowl Week continues tomorrow night, 8 Eastern from San Diego. It'll be Missouri at number 20 and number 17, Colorado State, squaring off in the Plymouth Holiday Bowl on ESPN.
Did you say tomorrow?
Tomorrow. It is.
It is tomorrow in the eastern part of the United States.
Depends on where you're going to be, I guess.
That's right.
A little different story in the Western time zone than it is in the Eastern time zone.
For
Ohio
those-
State all inside the paint, Larry.
For all those Easterners out there still up with us, thank you for sticking around.
Kansas working the basketball. Kenny Gregory in the game off the timeout. Here's Spears with the jumper, no good. And the rebound down to Nashawn Coleman, making his first appearance. Coleman, a starter last year, working off the bench. He's had some physical problems, some ankle problems, and he's in the game for the first time.
Well, so far, Ohio State playing a very measured game, not in a hurry, trying to take everything they can as it comes to them. Their offense hasn't been out of control. A couple of turnovers. That one was a big turnover.
And
Kansas got an easy one.
Bradford started it, and he'll finish it. Kenny and Nick Bradford teaming up right there. Now Coleman with a little problem and goes over to the Ohio State bench.
They indicated a 20-second timeout. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Well, it happened on the other end when they went after the ball. And an easy layup down on the other end for Nick Bradford.
And I don't know if Coleman has a scratch or what he has. The trainers taking care of him.
Well,
Coleman.
You know, I mentioned this as we watch again the play where the injury occurred. You'll see Coleman trying to go for the ball right there. Of course, one of the problems Ohio State has is they don't have a lot of players. They basically play 6 people. And they try to rotate them as best they can. And Coleman's going to have to go out and get that eye repaired.
Well, he had both ankles worked on after the season last year, and then just before the season started this year, they had to go in to remove a little detached piece of bone in his ankle, his right ankle. So he's had, from a physical perspective, a slow start, and now with a problem over his right eye here in the first half, he departs with 11:07 left to play in the half. And as you pointed out, Jim O'Brien does not have a team that's deep. They have Coleman as their 6th man. Shamar Herron, who had reported into the game, will get some playing time. And beyond that, perhaps Quadro Steele, a 6'6 sophomore who was a walk-on last year, but in this rebuilding mode.
You can see they're trying to clean the blood up right now. They put a chemical on the floor to get it up. The young lady out there squirting whatever it is, whatever that chemical is. And of course, you've got to get it cleaned up. Jim O'Brien is a little short on personnel, Dwayne,
Yep.
and it's a big problem for him. I mean, he came in there back in the springtime when they hired him from Boston College. Came in there, tried to do some recruiting. Feels like he's got a terrific recruiting class coming in next year. But right now he's trying to do it with mirrors with just 6 guys. Now he's only got 5 that play a lot.
We'll check the field and what we have coming up tomorrow from the Rainbow Classic, with Nebraska and Hawaii advancing through the first round yesterday. So that game will be on the Deuce tomorrow at 10 Eastern. And then Vanderbilt with a win over New Mexico State just prior to this game. So Vanderbilt will play the winner of Kansas-Ohio State's matchup. That'll be on ESPN technically Tuesday Eastern at 12:30 a.m.
You and I had a chance to watch a couple games yesterday. The Hawaii game was pretty ugly in the first half. In fact, it was 24-21 at the half, and then they came around and started to play and really blew BYU out. The other game was an interesting affair. Nebraska with a strong second half. Got them a big win. Danny Nee's club, I think, really showing some good maturity. He's got a lot of veterans coming back, and then Vandy and New Mexico State battled right down to the final 2 minutes. In fact, it was tied. Vandy pulled away right at the end. So some good games already in the Rainbow Classic.
Yeah, it's a good field. And of course, Kansas coming in the favorite, no doubt, with the full complement of players. And now with LaFrentz out of there, they're still the favorite, but a couple of other teams think they might have a shot to knock them off.
Good trap by Kansas.
Davis trapped out front and calls for the timeout, trapped in the corner there. They had Bradford and Robertson on the trap.
Well, that's something that Roy Williams brought with him from North Carolina. Dean Smith has done that for years. You pick your time, the place on the floor you want to trap, and they're very intelligent about it. Forced a 20 timeout to be burned by Ohio State.
Kansas coming in 14-1. The Jayhawks have done nothing but win, and you can see in the 90s that winning percentage, but they have not won the national title in the 90s among the top 5 winning percentages.
The big trophy has eluded him, but I got to tell you, I don't think it's going to happen for very long. In fact, it may get back to him this year. If Rafe LaFrentz comes back in good shape, healthy, ready to play in 6 to 8 weeks, I think this club is going to be very tough to beat.
Michael Redd off the inbound. Here's coming up for the possible steal. Redd by him misses the 15-footer. And the rebound for Nick Bradford.
Bradford's played well.
Nice pass to the corner. A 3 attempt by Pierce will not go. Rolls off. Davis back for the Buckeyes. Davis working against Robertson, and we're going to have a hold coming.
Roy Williams asking for the foul to go the other way. He felt like Carlos Davis was pushing off with that outside arm. Foul's going to go against Ryan Robertson. What a great story Robertson is. Filled in last year for Jock Vaughn when he was injured. Got that Kansas club off to such a great start. Now here he is. He's the guy who's got to run the club.
Billy Thomas back in the game for Kansas. Deep out of the corner, and Redd fills it.
Now we showed you some of that in that tape at the beginning of the show. He can shoot it from long range.
Ohio State takes a 2-point edge with that 3. A lot of ball movement by Kansas. This is a 3 attempt, will not go. Thomas with the rebound, finds Robertson. Robertson on the line. A 2 attempt not going to go. And Redd down with the ball.
See, Dwayne, I think Kansas is going to get a lot of outside shots against this Ohio State zone because they're not rotating very quickly. Kansas can make some of those threes. It'll loosen it up a little bit because they can't play anything but zone.
Nice pass. Nice pass from Davis to Redd.
I told
7
you,
for Michael Redd.
Redd can get him everywhere. He gets him outside, inside. Just give him the ball and let him go. What a great-looking freshman he is.
Thomas low with a bounce pass. Bradford. Robertson. Thomas. This is a 3. Not going to go. And Bradford hauls it in. Has it slapped away. It's loose. Still a scramble. And we're going to have a jump ball. There's some great effort by Ohio State. And that time, Jason Singleton forcing the jump ball.
Watch Michael Redd here get in position to receive the pass, turn, look, and nobody's there to help. Nice move. Michael Redd already with 7.
C.B. McGrath reports into the game for the first time for Kansas, replacing Robertson. Redd 3 of 5 from the floor with a couple of rebounds and 7 points. The 6'5" freshman out of Columbus, Ohio. Redd, 15-footer, rolls off. Johnson with a rebound and finds Davis down to the baseline. A nice pass out of there, up and in, and a great pass again by Davis to hit Jason Singleton.
Carlos Davis showing you some point guard ability, something he hasn't done, as you talked about early, his first year of playing that position.
Gregory swings it. McGrath. Baseline. Gregory rolls off. Sanderson with a rebound.
Sanderson doing a good job on the defensive glass. Kansas cannot find the bottom of that net.
Ohio State with a 6-point lead. Davis on the line. So the turnover. The ball goes back to the Jayhawks. Chenoweth back into the game, and Pierce returns as well. Kansas with the ball, struggling from beyond the 3-point line.
Kansas is 1 of 8 from beyond the three-point line right now. And as I said, I think they're going to get a lot of shots out there. If they can make them, they're going to have a runaway today. But they've got to be able to make them.
Thomas floats it, not going to go. Earl trying to put it back, no good. Davis quickly back. 3 men back for Kansas, and the shot comes up short. Pierce finds Thomas. Baseline. Earl to the bucket. Wow. Lester Earl walking the tightrope along the baseline.
Good quick drop step on the inside. Lester Earl with those quick rubbery legs. Boy, does he get up there in a hurry.
Davis working against McGrath down to the corner.
Watch that 5-second call.
Singleton. Banks it, not going to go. Ball Pierce rebounding. Jumper. No good. And again, it's Sanderson with a rebound. John Sanderson, the freshman, doing a good job off the boards.
A little bit of spread now for Ohio State. They're trying to open it up.
And they find Sanderson inside. Boy, nice job, too.
Yeah, they did. They got a good screen off of the top there. I think Davis set the screen for him, and Sanderson just rolled right down the paint area.
Thomas looking for Earl. Johnson denying him the ball.
Again, that zone defense by Ohio State, making it difficult to get it inside. They did get it. Chenoweth walk.
Yep. Chenoweth trying to get around Johnson. Ken Johnson, the young man, doing a good job. We have 7 minutes to play in the first half. The Buckeyes lead the Jayhawks by 6.
You know, the one thing you've got to do if you're a Kansas fan or a Kansas player, and I know the coaching staff has already told the players this, you got to forget about it. He's gone. He's going to be gone for 6 to 8 weeks. You got to go on and play. Right now, I think they are missing him terribly.
And it's not something new for Kansas. They had some injury problems last year they had to overcome.
Well, Scott Pollard went down in the midseason, and actually Rafe LaFrance really picked them up. In fact, he really carried them through the middle part of that season.
Sanders, oh, look at this. Sanderson finally got rid of it, found Red, and what a move by Red on the reverse.
With the right hand.
Red with 9 points, giving Ohio State this 21-13 lead. Branford trying to shake loose inside. Thomas from 3. Boy, that can make a difference in a hurry. Billy Thomas, the most prolific three-pointer for Kansas, now has 10 in this game.
Well, the thing about it is, as I said, they're going to get some wide open shots out there. So far, they've not been able to get them to go in. Kansas picking up their defense a little bit now, too.
And they forced the turnover. The pass intended low for Michael Red.
Watch the movement. Good move here by Red. Gets inside. Thinks it's going to get blocked. Look at the move that was with that right hand.
Now a 3-point game. Ohio State with a basketball. Davis hangs it up, rolls off. That's going to go out of bounds, and Kansas will get possession.
Dwayne seeing signs right there that maybe Ohio State might be rushing that offense a little bit. And also on the other side of the coin, Kansas' defense is a little bit better.
The unanswered buckets, a 3 by Thomas and 2 by Pierce. It's down to 21-18. This one will not go down for Branford. And the Buckeyes come away with the defensive board.
Getting good looks, Kansas is, but they just can't get them in there.
Singleton.
Ohio State once again showing patience on offense. Did not do that the last trip down the floor.
Ohio State playing with what turns out to be limited depth. Sanderson out to the corner, finds Red. Will not go, and Johnson comes up with a rebound. He turns over Pierce. No good. And here's a whistle on the reach over by Sanderson. Branford down with a rebound. We mentioned the limited depth for Jim O'Brien. Coleman, who was out with that cut over his right eye, has taken a number of stitches, 6 to 8 stitches, we understand, and will be back. They need any body they can get off the bench. Thomas with a 3 count.
Now, if he starts lighting it up, Ohio State's going to have to extend a little bit.
Thomas has 13 for Kansas. And that three ties the game at 21. A 20-second timeout on the floor.
Well, Billy Thomas with a couple of good long-range shots. Anytime you can get this guy fired up and get him loose out there, it forces the defense to come out and play, which could open it up a little bit more on the inside. Maybe help Lester Earl or Paul Pierce in there to get a few more points.
And he's hit 3 threes, 3 out of 5 from three-point range for Billy Thomas.
737, Vanderbilt faces the winner of this game.
There he is, leading Kansas for all-time three-pointers now with 214, including the 3 tonight. Instant offense, and he has given them some of that tonight.
Thanks, guys. Hustle. Thank you. Hustle.
Ohio State with the ball in this tie game.
Kansas trying to turn the fire up a little bit, get the tempo up to their liking. This is a club that's averaging 88 points a game, and they like to go up and down the floor. Ohio State trying to resist that.
Ohio State averaging under 70 points a game. Here's McGrath putting on some pressure. Sanderson away with the ball, headed to the bucket, has it stripped, and a whistle and a foul. I think McGrath is going to get the foul.
Kansas almost with a steal in a couple of places on the floor that time. Ohio State very fortunate to keep possession.
Give the foul to Nick Bradford instead. And this will send Singleton to the line.
Kansas with only 3 team fouls to this point in the half. Ohio State with but 4.
Jason Singleton shooting 2.
Jason Singleton again struggling from the line coming into this game, just at 35% for the year.
One more, guys.
Missed a couple earlier and converts this one.
When his form looked great on that. Good bend in the knees, coming back up, a release, good follow through. Sometimes I think standing at that free throw line is a state of mind.
This one will not go. McGrath back for the Jayhawks. Down to the corner. Here's Robertson for 3. Ryan Robertson, the junior out of St. Charles, Missouri.
There's that wide open 3 again. Kansas beginning to get a few of those to drop.
The Jayhawks by 2. Down to the 3:43 mark. Roy Williams wanting a foul on a push-off by Davis, but no call. Davis on the right side against McGrath. Takes it inside across the paint and lost the ball, so the turnover will give it back to the Kansas Jayhawks. Bradford applying the pressure to force that turnover. The Jayhawks have been a much-traveled team. They have more wins than Ohio State has games played, and we talked to Roy Williams about that.
If I had to do over again, I wouldn't do it because we've missed so much practice, or haven't had very much practice time. That game slippage has been on top of game slippage on top of game slippage. But kids like to play, and so we did it with that in mind, but we need some more practice time.
Talk about travel weary. They have been all over the place, Larry.
Yeah, it looks like an NBA schedule in November and December. They've been all over this country. You can see a couple of games there in Lawrence, Kansas, but Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago. It's a well-traveled club.
Jayhawks with a 2-point lead. Robertson across to Pierce, who has an open look but misses the shot. And the rebound for Jason Singleton.
Pierce has really struggled this evening with his shot. This is something he's not done all year long, shooting at a 50% clip.
Robertson knocks it away, but it goes out of bounds as he goes sliding into the table. Robertson up and all right.
It's a pretty small lineup out there right now. You look at Robertson, McGrath, Bradford, Thomas, and Pierce. Actually, Pierce is the tallest player they've got on the floor.
Singleton finds Sanderson off the inbound. Just over 3 minutes to play in the half. Kansas up by 2.
A pretty good coaching move on the part of Roy Williams. Matchup size-wise and quickness-wise with this Buckeye team. Right now, they've got a 2-point lead, Kansas does.
Down to 6 on the shot clock and a whistle. And a hold there coming against McGrath. McGrath charged with his first.
Not a bad foul. If you're going to take it, if you're beaten, go ahead and take the shove. You're not into the 1-on-1.
Carlos Davis working the point against McGrath.
Ohio State trying to control this offense as best they can.
Singleton Down to Red. Here's a 3 attempt. Long, and Thomas comes up with a shot.
I think
Bradford
Bradford bothered him when he got to the corner.
Robertson trying to go low to Pierce. Out of bounds. Buckeyes get it back.
Timing was not very good there. Robertson had a wide open alley to throw that ball down to Pierce low on the block. Didn't make a very good pass to him.
Ohio State down by 2. Sanderson looking for some help. Back to Sanderson. And a whistle and a hold inside.
Ball number 21, Mike
Bradford
Bradford.
will be charged with his second foul.
In for the Jayhawks.
Kansas comes back with a bigger lineup now, putting Chenoweth and Lester Earl back in there.
McGrath and Bradford depart.
It's Kenny Gregory coming back in the lineup. He's only played 3 minutes in this first half, and this is a school, obviously, that recruited him very heavily. He was from Columbus, Ohio. In fact, still is.
Out of Independence High School.
Jason
This one
Singleton.
good for Jason Singleton to tie the game at 24.
Kenny Gregory getting a chance to play against a school that he probably saw a lot of when he was in high school.
And getting a chance to play against Michael Redd, the outstanding freshman from Ohio State. They faced each other in high school. Ball loose, and Earl comes up with it. Look what I found, and Earl knew exactly what to do with it.
Well, John Sanderson that time was battling Michael Redd. They were on the same team. Battled each other, and the ball went back to Kansas for an easy one.
Redd with a basketball.
Once again, the high post pick, the spread offense. You see Ohio State trying to pick high, even beyond the free throw line, extended three-point line.
And at 10 on the shot clock.
Sanderson picks up that dribble. Very dangerous. Nobody coming to the ball.
There's a feed knocked away, and we're going to have a goaltending call against Chenoweth.
Passed by Jason Singleton.
Singleton will get the bucket on the goaltending charge to Eric Chenoweth, and that will tie the game with just over a minute left to play. Coming up at halftime, be sure and stay with us. We'll switch you to ESPN News. We'll update all the big stories, NFL playoff action, a key injury for the Blue Devils, and all the highlights from college basketball. Under a minute to play in the first half of this one. A misconnect on the pass intended for Gregory.
Robertson threw it just a little bit too far to the right of the backboard.
Gregory inside, not going to drop for him. Red comes up with that loose ball. 38 seconds left. Only about 4 seconds difference with the game clock and the shot clock.
You know, Dwayne, if you analyze this first half, it's really gone the way that Ohio State hoped it would. Even though they've lost one of their key players right now, Nashawn Coleman with that eye injury, they've been able to keep close to Kansas. And that's exactly what Jim O'Brien wanted to do. He has slowed this game down. It's to his pace and his liking.
Ohio State looking for the final shot. This one will not go, but a whistle. Red missed the shot. The foul coming against John Sanderson.
There's Nashawn Coleman on the bench right there with what looks like, we were told, 6 to 8 stitches over that right eye. Good to see him back.
Kansas with a basketball, 4 seconds left. First half, Thomas with a 3 attempt will not go, and there's the buzzer as Johnson battled Earl right down to the closing second in the first half to end this first half all tied. Jason Singleton with 11 points here at the half in double figures, leading Ohio State. They have tied it. Ohio State 26, Kansas 26. Larry Conley, Dwayne Stats courtside from the Special Events Center. Nice to get into the spirit of being in Honolulu here.
I want to know how the lane matches your basketball tie. That's amazing.
It is. Well, you're color coordinated.
Yes,
as well.
we are.
Nice to see. Well, and we've had kind of a fun game here this first half. From an artistic perspective, maybe not the best, but certainly competitive.
Well, but I think the thing that really stood out for me was the fact that Jason Singleton and Ohio State was able to do what they wanted to do in the first half. Jim O'Brien's got his club playing exactly the way he wants them. Watch Singleton maneuver underneath here. He's got 11 in the first half, and that really is his average for the
the year. Billy Thomas for Kansas. I talked about their ability to get three-point shots. They'll get them. Thomas can 3 of 6 and had 13 in that first half. He's the key to this club right now. They need some good outside shooting because their shooting was woeful in that first half.
On the reverse end, Paul Pierce has just 4 points, 2 of 11 from the floor with 2 rebounds, and this game is tied at the half. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment. The Ohio State Buckeyes in this rebuilding mode under Jim O'Brien, tied at the half with number 3 ranked Kansas.
Field goal percentage, you can see the Buckeyes shooting 44%. They missed a couple right at the end of the half. Look at the rebounding. Ohio State with a 1 rebound lead in that first half, and also the points in the paint outscoring the Jayhawks by 10. There's the reason. The guy that led them in rebounding before he got that injury, well, right now they're -1, and they've been out-rebounding clubs almost at a 10 rebound per game average.
Same starting lineup to start the second half has started the first half. Robertson trapped in the corner, knocked out of bounds by Michael Redd, so Kansas will hang on. They have Robertson and Thomas. Earl starting, Pierce and Chenoweth, the 5 on the floor for Kansas. Jayhawks with a basketball.
Buckeyes back into that 2-3 zone defense.
This ball tipped by Davis out of bounds, and Ohio State's going to come back. They'll have Carlos Davis and Michael Redd out front. Ken Johnson, who's done a nice job inside in the middle. He is flanked by Singleton and Sanderson.
Third turnover for Ryan Robertson.
Singleton off the glass on the feed from Davis, and Singleton now has 13.
Gets most of his stuff on the inside. Had 11 in that first half. Now with 13, most of it in the paint area.
Robertson with a 3 attempt, not going to go. Chenoweth could not hang on to the battle for the rebound. Redd with a long pass. Singleton, a nice move to the bucket by Robertson up and in.
How about the maneuver to get around the charge? Ryan Robertson ready to take it, and he just kind of turned his body to the right side and floated by him.
Ohio State with the first couple buckets here to start second half action.
Well, that's what you like to see if you're Jim O'Brien. See your club come out positively.
Thomas with the 2 attempt, not going to go. Chenoweth down with the ball this time, tries to go back up, and here's a whistle.
Now there's a positive note, Dwayne. The fact that Eric Chenoweth went up, got the rebound, didn't kick it back out, took it with a good, strong power move and tried to get it back up. That's what they need out of this young man, and they're going to need it for the next couple of months.
Ken Johnson charged with his second foul, sending Chenoweth to the line. Chenoweth, a pretty good free throw shooter as well, better than 70% on the year.
One more, guys.
It hits this one. Roy Williams was saying earlier this afternoon, Larry, when you and I talked with him, they're going to have to ask Chenoweth to accelerate his development over the next couple of months, accelerate it maybe a couple of years.
Yeah, and the thing about it was nice play behind Ray LaFrance. You get a chance to learn a lot behind a guy like that. Now you got to step up. You've been thrown into the fire.
Redd buries it for 3.
If you want to trap, you better know where Michael Redd is on the floor. Kansas missed him.
Nice pass from Robertson and a whistle underneath as he found Earl.
Michael Redd floating around in there. Anytime Kansas goes for a double team, you know that those Buckeyes are going to look for him. Standing all by himself on that left side, and he can drill this one, and does.
Earl will go to the line looking at 2. Earl 3 out of 8 from the line now. This is his 3rd game with Kansas.
And man who transferred from LSU.
Played 11 games with LSU. Makes this one.
Much ballyhoo player coming out of high school. One of the most recruited guys his senior year in high school. He's going to help them before the year's out. He's going to get back into his customary position of playing above that rim.
Ohio State by 4. Robertson knocks it away from Redd. There's the ball deflected, goes out of bounds, and will walk the other way. Kansas arguing that the ball was tipped by Ohio State, but the Buckeyes will get the basketball.
You know what? I think they're right. Roy Williams right there. You can see him in disgust, squatting in front of his bench. I think in fact it was touched by some Buckeye player. I'm not sure who it was.
Carlos Davis takes the ball down the sideline. Redd baseline working against Thomas, turns, and there's a fall-away jumper, and he is fouled, hit on the arm. So Thomas gets red. First foul against Thomas.
You know, Red tried to maneuver down on that baseline, and Thomas was with him every step of the way. Then when he turned with his back to the basket, had that wide open shot, Thomas was off balance, actually reeling on his heels.
Red with 12 tonight had a 30-point game against Southern California. That's the most for an Ohio State freshman since Herb Williams scored 34 back in November of 1977.
This guy's a complete player.
He is fun to watch. Creates his own shot, as we've seen. Can penetrate, can hit from outside. Converts both from the line. 6-point spread by Ohio State. That's 14 for Red tonight.
You guys are, looks like in a triangle and 2 right now. 3 guys playing zone. Looks like Sanderson and Red are playing straight up man-to-man. Sanderson's got Pierce.
Pierce struggled in the first half. He'll pop it.
Still struggling.
Yes, he is. He was cold on 2 of 11 from the floor in the first 20 minutes.
We'll keep an eye on that. Sanderson was playing Pierce man-to-man that time. They also had Thomas man-to-man. The other 3 guys were playing a sort of a triangle zone.
Johnson low against Chenoweth, and here's a travel against Ken Johnson.
I thought if he'd taken one more step, he'd have been in the Pacific.
Robertson down to Pierce. Chenoweth coming. He walked. Well, he took a stroll on the beach as well.
Yeah.
The ball goes right back to the Buckeyes. 35-29 Ohio State. 17-15 to play.
Buckeyes not in any hurry right now. Jim O'Brien did a nice job of coaching this game.
Here's Red. Tries to take it inside. Stripped. Earl got a hand on it. Loose ball on the floor. Thomas with a pickup. 3 men back. Earl down to the baseline. Thomas a fake, and now from 12 puts it up and in. And Sanderson had his arms up, and he'll be charged with a foul. That's going to be 15 for Billy Thomas.
There were a couple of good plays by Kansas players that time. Eric Chenoweth kept the ball alive down on the Ohio State end and enabled them to get to the offensive end. And you see Thomas fouled right there as he drills it from about 8 feet. Sanderson right on his arm.
And Thomas to the line. He has not gone to the line much this year. Coming into this game, just 3 out of 4 from the line.
He just doesn't
15 games.
He just doesn't take it to the floor, put it on the floor, and take it to the basket. He likes that outside shot, or take it to the floor, put it down there, and pull it up and take the short jumper.
Lead cut in half at 35-32. Ohio State. Robertson overplaying his man a little bit, and the shot will not be. It's not going to go. In and out again. Earl with the rebound. Here's Robertson across the court to the corner. Thomas. Chenoweth, a little trouble finding the handle. Pierce spinning. Nice move to the baseline, and it will not finish. A great move, but he could not finish his business. Here's Thomas at 3, and that will get Kansas even.
Yeah, right now Billy Thomas has picked his club up and put it on his back. You got to give him credit. Somebody had to step up and do it tonight. Tonight is going to be Thomas.
He has 19, his high for the year, 21 against UMass. Now Singleton working against Chenoweth denied. Nice give here as Sanderson goes to the bucket and is fouled.
There's that pressure release again. Kansas is awfully good at playing the good wing pressure. Go back and watch Thomas now. Long range. Billy Thomas right now doing it all for Kansas, particularly on the outside.
2 shots.
Chenoweth charged with the foul to send Sanderson to the line, looking at 2. He's a freshman at 6'7", a 65% free throw shooter. And converts this one. Here comes Nick Bradford returning to the game, replacing Chenoweth. Sanderson with another shot coming. Kansas back with the ball. Robertson. Pierce top of the circle. Bradford trying to turn on the baseline and draws the whistle. That's going to be against Singleton.
You know, I think Jason Singleton was trying to double down and come down the block and didn't do anything about it.
It's a one-point game. Timeout on the floor. 15-43. Ohio State leading this game over Kansas. Here in Honolulu, a one-point game. Ohio State leading with 15:43 left to play. Coming up Thursday, ABC Sports presents live at 4:30 Eastern the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, New Year's Day. #1 Michigan against Washington State. The Heisman Trophy winner Charles Woodson leading the Wolverines into the Rose Bowl, looking for their first national championship since 1948. There's Paul Pierce, continues to struggle with just 4 points tonight.
He is at 27 straight double-figure games. That may be in jeopardy tonight, although I kind of get the feeling he might turn it up a little bit, a notch or two here in the next 5 or 6 minutes.
Averaging 19.6 points a game. Kansas with the ball. Robertson swings it off to Nick Bradford. Now Pierce up off the glass. Still can't get it to go down, but a whistle and a foul.
Dwayne, it hasn't been that he's inactive. I mean, he's all over the floor trying to get things done. He's had open shots. Well, they just won't go in. This is a guy that was shooting 50% coming into this game. Look at this. Good fake. Goes right into the lane, in the paint, and then draws the foul.
Foul on Singleton, his third. That could be a crucial foul as well with 15:33 left.
You know, every year we have so many NBA scouts that show up for this tournament. They have a chance to see a lot of players, 8 teams.
Make sure.
I talked to a lot of them last night, and they think Paul Pierce is definitely a lottery pick, whether he comes out this year, which I hope he doesn't, stays around his senior year. This guy is a very talented player all around.
They love his body. 6'7", better than 220. Runs the floor well. He's tough. Here's Davis, takes it down to the baseline and pops. Count it.
Boy, he got it over Robertson, and Robertson was right in his face when he let it go.
That's 4 for Carlos Davis. Robertson down to the corner. Bradford. Pierce not going to go. Heavy traffic. Earl tries to put it up. Now it's loose on the floor and a scramble. Ohio State out of there with a basketball, and again some great effort on the floor by Carlos Davis.
There were 4 guys down there, and nobody really had possession of the ball.
Nice pass. Singleton off the board and in.
Davis makes another great pass underneath. Singleton makes that little cut down in there, and he's getting a lot of points down in there, but thank Davis for getting the ball to him.
He has 17, his high 23 against Kent. Coming off a double-figure 10-point performance against Chattanooga. Pierce, and he fills it. The Jayhawks hoping that will get Pierce started.
You know, when you got a player that caliber that's got that kind of ability, he's not going to stay under too long. He's going to rise to the top. This guy is just too good.
He has 7, makes it a 2-point game. Ohio State with the ball in the lead. Sanderson out to help out front. Pierce follows him there. Reed cuts inside. Red, I beg your pardon, and now Davis down to the corner. Davis, they're down to 6 on the shot clock, and Thomas with the steal, headed for the bucket, puts it up and in. Billy Thomas has 21.
Dwayne, that was good defense that time by Kansas. They had covered the wing position. They wouldn't allow the ball to go in the post, and they had pressure on the ball.
The game tied at 40 on the steal and the conversion by Thomas. Ohio State with the basketball. Inside Johnson. First time he's handled the ball in a while. Low. Davis. This is everything. Kansas will get the basketball.
Watch Billy Thomas here now on defense. See, now there's the cut. He comes from the offside, grabs it. Nobody's out in front. Just lay it out there, run and catch the ball, and lay it up. Billy Thomas having a wonderful game. Get a little breather right now.
Chenoweth back in, Earl out, and Nashawn Coleman, who has some stitches on his forehead, has returned to the game for Ohio State. Gregory. Bradford down to the corner. Here's a 3 attempt by Robertson, will not go. And a big rebound for Red. Michael Red, the freshman, off to Coleman. Coleman, a starter last year, coming off the bench this year. Red fall away against Gregory, not going to go. Singleton could not get the tip to go down. Bradford back for Kansas. Too heavy traffic. Ball stolen. It's Red. Red started it and finishes it with help from Coleman in between.
Well, Bradford just could not come up with that basketball. He was trying to gather it in, just couldn't do it, and Ohio State just stayed after it.
16 for Michael Red, and the Buckeyes are up by 2. Here's Gregory for a pair. So Kenny Gregory, the freshman out of Columbus, he and Red battled each other in high school, varsity, junior varsity, battling each other tonight.
And now they're guarding each other. Gregory's on him right now.
Game tied at 42 with 12 minutes to play. Ohio State with the ball. Singleton finds Red and a pass. Anderson. We're going to get a travel call. That upsets Jim O'Brien on the sideline. So we have a timeout on the floor. 11:54 to play, tied at 42. 42 with 11:54 to play.
Wait, look at John Sanderson. Now, I'm going to tell you, officials usually make the right call. Does he do it? Look at this. 1, 2, 3. You betcha. He traveled with the basketball. Good call by the referees. You got to give credit where credit is due. There's look at the field goal percentage defense for the season, 39%, and they're holding Kansas to 36%. A pretty good defensive club, a team that plays a lot of zone and a lot of junk defenses. They have to because they only have 6 players that play most of their minutes. Jim O'Brien doing a terrific job tonight. Doing a good job against the number 3 team in the country.
On the turnover, Robertson in charge of the basketball for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Once again, Ohio State back into that triangle of 2. See Sanderson chasing Pierce.
Gregory with a nice pass to Bradford, and he is fouled. Gregory, great feed to set that one up.
You know, the responsibility on defense man-to-man is easy, but when you're playing a combination defense, it's hard to keep up with people. Watch Bradford make the cut down underneath. An easy pass down there. And there he is with an easy, well, not an easy one, but certainly an easy one with no one around him as he reversed it off the glass.
And Bradford will be going to the line. Shamar Herron into the game, replacing Johnson for Ohio State. And Bradford misses this one. Up for the rebound, Sanderson. Johnson out of this game with 4 fouls. Singleton playing with 3 for Ohio State.
Well, Singleton just finds a way to get the ball in the basket somewhere around the basket.
And that ties the game.
This guy is a terrific inside player for his size.
Anderson knocks this one away as Gregory tried to go to the bucket. Coleman in charge for the Buckeyes in a tie game. Working against Ryan Robertson. Singleton, Coleman. This is a 3. Front of the rim and out. Robertson down with the ball for the Jayhawks. Thomas down to the corner. Inside. Chenoweth comes out of there limping. Eric Chenoweth limps back down the court. They've already lost 2 big men this year.
I was going to say he looked like he turned his ankle when he turned to look at the basket. Well, would that be a terrible loss? He looks like he's all right, though. He's maneuvering pretty well down in the paint.
Singleton and count it. Red, and he is fouled. Singleton hung that up there for him. Red finished it, and he is fouled.
I think maybe the fact that Chenoweth was favoring that ankle a little bit, that Ohio State took full advantage of that and threw the ball in his direction. He's going to go out of the game right now. Look at this Singleton pass right here to the ever-flying Red.
Chenoweth charged with the foul. His 3rd, and Earl replaces him. Red to the line. He converts it. Chenoweth relacing the shoes over there, apparently all right. Ohio State by 3. Gregory. Robertson with an open look from 3, but will not nail it.
3-point shooting continues to be a problem for the Jayhawks.
And Singleton was there for the rebound this time.
4 of 13 in the first half, and they struggled here in the second half, too.
This one for 2. Not going to go. Earl with a rebound. Quickly to Bradford. Gregory. Inside. It's going to go.
Nice
He was
move.
fouled. Boy, he hung up there. Had strength enough to send it through. Count the bucket. And
Kenny
the
Gregory
foul is
is
against Singleton, and that's going to be his fourth.
Kenny Gregory is 6'5" and 215, and he needed every pound to get this one to go in. You can see the foul committed right there. Hung around long enough to watch it bounce off the rim.
Gregory with a chance to tie it. 4 fouls on Singleton, 4 fouls on Johnson, who's on the bench already. This one not going to go. Singleton with a rebound, and that's the problem facing the Buckeyes. Just no depth, and this whole front line is a complete rebuild for Ohio State. Coleman down. Heron off the glass. That's a nice move.
How about off the bench and off the glass, huh?
The 6'9" Frenchman out of Detroit with a big bucket. Not going to go for Gregory. Red with the rebound this time. 9 minutes to play. Ohio State by 3 with the ball. Deshaun Coleman running it out front.
Gotta watch that 5-second count. Gregory doing a nice job guarding him.
When tipped out of bounds by Billy Thomas. Buckeyes will hang on. Carlos Davis gets set to report back, and Paul Pierce will return for Kansas. Bradford leaves for the Jayhawks, and Singleton will go to the bench with the 4 fouls.
If you're going to play against Kansas, you got to be ready for that wing pressure. They really make it tough for you to make that pass from point to wing.
Davis right there.
Thomas doing a nice job on Sanderson.
He floats this one up. It will not drop. And a whistle inside. There was a momentary lapse before Red stepped in to come up with that ball, and then the whistle.
Now, that's the second one of those runners that we've seen Carlos Davis throw up. It's like a shot coming out of the 40s. I used to watch guys on film do that. Not tape, on film. Running right down the lane and kind of throws it up there.
Roberts in charge with that foul. Now Earl leaves, and back into the game comes McGrath. McGrath, the 5'11" junior guard. Off the glass for Sanderson. Coleman out front with the ball. They'll reset it.
Good work again by Ohio State on their offensive end. Sanderson keeping it alive.
Sanderson on a give. Backdoor to Red. Knocked out of bounds by Kansas.
See, when Kansas comes out with that pressure on the wings, Ohio State is retaliating by going quickly on that backdoor cut.
Red out to Davis. Back to the corner.
Boy, did Pierce get out there in a hurry on Red.
Over Pierce. Not good this time.
Good defense that time by Paul Pierce.
Gregory off to McGrath. Swings to the corner. Thomas with a look. And boy, you don't want to give him a look.
He's the one guy that you can depend on from beyond that three-point arc.
He has 24, and this one ties the game at 49. He's been the saving force tonight for Kansas. And here's a foul coming against Carlos Davis away from the ball. That's his first, but it will give Kansas the basketball. There's the career high night for Billy Thomas with 24. He had 21 earlier against UMass. Averaging better than 13.5 a game. The third leading scorer on this team, behind LaFrentz and Pierce.
For whatever,
now we'll go to the other end on the 1-and-1.
I was going to say, whatever period that guy's out, Rafe LaFrentz is out of this lineup for Kansas. Somebody's going to have to step up and fill in that 21 point per game average that he contributed to this club. Tonight it's Billy Thomas. Next game it may be somebody else. But I think it's evident that Billy Thomas has felt like, I've got to step it up because we need some points.
Gregory continues to struggle from the line. Missing that one. Davis comes away with the basketball. Carlos Davis out at the point. Now Sanderson inside, out of bounds, out of the hands of Coleman, belonging to Kansas. So play stops with a timeout. 49-49 tie. 7:25 left. With Ohio State at 49, the absence of Raef LaFrentz hurting them as a team, but there's an individual consequence as well, and Roy Williams talked about that.
I think it's really tough at first, and it's tough for all of us because we know what the youngster gave up, and he loves college basketball and wanting to come back and play as opposed to being probably the second, third, or fourth pick in the NBA draft last year. So it's more difficult for everybody knowing what he did give up. But he loves to play, he loves being a kid, loves college life, and it's taken away from him like that. So it's a period of adjustment right now.
LaFrentz, when he decided to stay for this senior year, said money can't buy you that single season of happiness that he was looking for in his senior season at Kansas. So it's an individual disappointment for him as well.
Well, I think not only his play on the floor, but I think his leadership off of the floor. Ohio State with a good trap at midcourt.
And here's a pass intercepted, picked off by Herron inside. So the Buckeyes get a big turnover. Davis down in the corner, working against McGrath. Sanderson out front. Oops, this one thrown away. It's going to go to Kansas.
Well, Sanderson and Red, miscommunication right there. Red was going to go backdoor. Sanderson thought he was going to come out to meet the ball.
McGrath working the basketball from the point. Robertson now out of the game. Pierce comes out.
Ohio State's gone back to basically just a 2-3 matchup now. Gone away from that junk defense.
Pierce has had a tough night from the floor. He's 3 of 15. Here's Thomas, who's had a great night from the floor. Hits deep from three-point territory. He has 27. Kansas grabs the lead.
I tell you, you like to have balance in your scoring, but if Billy Thomas is going to continue to shoot like that, I would say let's see more of that.
Sanderson guarded by Earl. Davis.
Kansas defense has picked up now. I think that three has invigorated them.
6 minutes left to play. This will not go down. Earl closes up on the rebound. Pierce with a look. Now the jumper, and he buries it. Well, if he gets hot, look out. He has 9 tonight and is now 4 of 16 from the floor.
Jim O'Brien's going to take a timeout, and I think it's smart to do it right now. This game could get away from them in a hurry. Kansas up by 5.
Carlos Davis across the timeline and into the front court for the full timeout with 5:40 left to play. Kansas leading 54-49.
The score was tied 49-49 before 2 big scores for Kansas decided to get it in gear. Watch Billy Thomas down in the corner right here take this shot. This is the three-point goal that gave them the lead. Then the other guy, who's one of their leading scorers on this club, in fact, their second leading scorer, Paul Pierce, starts to get untracked. A good move to the baseline and an easy pull-up jumper. If Pierce gets it untracked along with Thomas, then Roy Williams is going to be a happy man tonight.
Still with 5:40 to play, a long way to go, but sometimes that will work against Ohio State from the fatigue factor. They're not very deep, as we discussed earlier. Red takes it inside. It's not going to go. And here's Earl with a rebound.
The shots are starting to come up short now. They're hitting the front of the rim.
Pierce. Chenoweth low. Back out for Pierce. This is a 3. Not going to go. Chenoweth lost it. Could not find the handle. Tried to deflect it out of bounds. And it's going to belong to Ohio State.
Big possession here for Jim O'Brien's club. He really needs a basket here to kind of reassert themselves. After Kansas got that lead with that 3 by Thomas and that 2 by Pierce, O'Brien needs something positive to happen, and Kansas almost stole the ball.
And a turnover. Davis tried to float it in there, and McGrath was back there. So a little miscommunication. And again, you wonder if that might not be a part of the fatigue factor.
Yeah, good defensive hustle that time by McGrath, though. CB is everywhere.
Thomas swings it over to McGrath. 5 minutes to play. Pierce takes it inside, knocked away. That ball's going to go out of bounds, and Ohio State will get it back. So the Buckeyes get a break with 4:53 left.
Once again, I think Pierce is trying to force the issue there. He ought to just let the game come to him. He's had a difficult night shooting. When you get late in the game and you've got a tight game, when you're the leader and the club expects you to score a lot of points, you expect to go out and do it. But just take your time and let it come to you.
Singleton playing with the 4 fouls. Johnson back in. He has 4 as well. Singleton looking for some help, and finally Red comes out to relieve the pressure.
Well, Kansas doing a nice job defensively that time.
Davis on the give to Singleton inside over Chenoweth, and another big bucket for Singleton, who's back in. He has 21 tonight.
But once again, he got it in the paint. He finds a way to get it in there tight and still get it up and in.
A 3-point game, a little better than 4 minutes to play. Thomas. Davis went for the steal, came up empty. Pierce. McGrath working it down to the corner. Pierce.
Yeah.
Whoa, he buries it for 3.
See, that's it. The game came to him. He got the ball right where he wanted it. He got the 3, and now that gives Kansas a 6-point lead.
And he's in double figures for the 28th straight time. Sanderson to Red. A 6-point spread and a whistle on Thomas on a hold. Red had beaten him. That stops the clock at 3:35. Second foul here on Thomas. Now Ryan Robertson will report back in, replacing McGrath, who did a nice job. McGrath, the senior out of Topeka, the only Kansan on this team, and a good job during that stretch.
Well, the thing that he gives you is a good guy off the bench, a good backup role player. Handles the basketball, dribbles it, passes it well, and defends well.
Red to initiate the inbound. Singleton down to the corner. Red baseline and a hold. A foul. Chenoweth, the big man, charged with another one. That's his 3rd.
It's all right for Kansas. Only their 6th team foul.
That's the 4th on Chenoweth. So he will depart. Bradford in to replace him. Singleton. And a nice look. Red tries to reverse, but there's the whistle. Michael Red could not get this one to drop.
You know, this single possession by Ohio State, that's been 3 fouls by Kansas in less than about 15 seconds. Watch this nice pass by Singleton as Red makes the baseline cut. Boy, is that a good-looking pass. Red tries to find ways to get it in, doesn't he?
Yep. Pierce charged with a foul.
Got a funny little mechanical move there, putting that ball on his left hip before he goes up to shoot the free throw. Let's see if we can watch this again.
And as good as he has been, Larry, he's hitting just 54% from the free throw line.
Now, watch him dribble this ball, kind of put it on his hip before he takes it up. See, he takes it back again. Gets into a rhythm. Now looks and releases.
And hits 1 of 2 this time. A 5-point Kansas lead. That's 20 tonight for Red. So another 20-point performance in 10 of the 11 games he's played for Ohio State. Robertson, they tried to trap him in a bump out there by Carlos Davis. Had Davis and Sanderson on him. 2nd foul on Carlos Davis.
They were actually lying in wait. When the ball went to the wing, they were going to try to double team, whether it was going to be the left side or the right side. They had Robertson right in front of the Kansas bench there and committed the foul.
Now Robertson to the line, better than a 70% shooter. Academic All-Conference. Converts it. He has 4 tonight.
Guys, both ways, both sides here.
He took over last year when Vaughn went down. Made 11 starts. Kansas went 11-0. Paul Pierce says he's the most underrated college player going.
I would say that too if he'd give me the ball.
You got to take care of those point guards.
Absolutely,
if you're a man
buddy.
up front. You got to take care of the lineman if you're the quarterback or the running back.
Ryan, what do you need?
7-point lead now for Kansas. And the ball knocked out of bounds by the Kansas defense. It's going to belong to Ohio State. 2:54 left to play. Been a great effort by the Buckeyes tonight. They need a bucket here. And we're going to get a 20-second timeout request by Kansas. with a 2:54 remaining on the clock and a 59-52 score.
Well, Jim O'Brien right now, he's got his club right at the edge right there, down by 7. Got to ask him for a little bit more. Yeah, they played a lot of minutes tonight, that starting 5, but guys, look, we got 2:54 left to play. We got a chance to get back in this game right now. We need a basket right here. That's what he's telling us.
Kansas up by 7. The free throw breakout for Kansas. They have made more than their opponents have attempted from the line by a couple. Off the inbound, and it will not go down for Singleton. Boy, a big miss for Ohio State, and Pierce comes out with the basketball.
Boy, they got an easy look at it, too.
That is a crucial miss for the Buckeyes. And Pierce will pop it. Yes, sir. Paul Pierce hits again. 61-52. 14 for Pierce. Well, the buckets by Thomas and Pierce with about 5:40 really turned the tide here. Bradford out of there. Now to Robertson. Kansas starting to take charge inside Earl. Robertson swinging it to Pierce. Pierce with a look. Count it.
Yeah, now he's back.
Hits a 3.
He's back.
He has 17, and Kansas has opened a 64-52 lead. As the Kansas run in the last 7 minutes, 18-3 to grab this lead. There's a pass to...
Oh move by Red.
Red grabbed the ball and reversed it again. 22 for the freshman Michael Red.
Boy, now that was some maneuver there.
Pierce open from three-point range.
He's got it going.
He just fills it. He has 20.
You can take him to Diamond Head and let him launch it.
It's Pierce and Robertson on the combo here, and there's a hole on Robertson. Stops the clock with a minute 22. Well, something to see here in the last couple exchanges.
Now, Michael Red, look at this maneuver. You talk about athleticism. This is what we talk about. Look at this body movement. Inside, holds it, stayed in the air long enough to get it to reverse off of the glass on the other side. You want the answer? Give it to Paul Pierce from beyond the arc. Well, this guy's gotten hot in the last 5 minutes. You can't keep quality players down. They're going to step up.
McGrath back into the game. And Ohio State calls for a 22nd timeout. Well, this run for Kansas, and you just had a feeling whether LaFrance was in there or not because of, if nothing else, not only talent but depth. And that's something that Ohio State has to contend with. Jim O'Brien only 6-7 deep. 8 if you stretch it, but realistically 7. And that's what we've seen tonight. The brackets from the Rainbow Classic. This is the final game of the first round. Nebraska knocked off Virginia, and Hawaii, the host, over BYU yesterday. In the game just before this one, the Commodores of Vanderbilt knocked off New Mexico State. And here we have Ohio State, Kansas. Tomorrow we'll have Nebraska and Hawaii on the deuce at 10 Eastern. And then the winner of this game takes on Vanderbilt at 12:30 a.m. on Tuesday, which will follow that game tomorrow. Davis will be at the line. Carlos Davis looking at a 1-and-1. Off the front of the rim. McGrath out with a basketball to Pierce. Pierce struggled through that first half, but he's enjoying himself now. And here's a hold on Red as Pierce entered the front court. Stops the clock with 1:12 left to go. That's the 10th team foul, and Pierce will go to the line now for 2.
One of the interesting matchups in this Rainbow Classic coming up tomorrow. Lou, the wonderful guard that Nebraska has, a 6-footer, had a career high the other day of 34. Boy, can he score, play, run the floor, shoot it, does everything. And Alika Smith, a great, outstanding guard for Hawaii. So we could have a good backcourt confrontation right there. And then on the other end, if it is Kansas and Vanderbilt with a very tall physical club, and could be problems for Kansas since they don't have a lot of strength inside. Now that LaFrance is gone, we could see a battle maybe more to the inside and not so much in the backcourt in that second game.
Here's the steal off the inbound. McGrath comes up with it as Pierce converted from the line. So Pierce has 22 behind the 27 of Thomas. Now with a minute left to play, Kansas with this 69-54 lead, content to spread it out and let the clock tick.
Well, it's going to be a hard-fought win for Kansas. I think what they'll take away from this is the fact that, yes, their best player has gone to the bench and will be there for a couple of months, but they found some guys maybe that can step up, particularly Billy Thomas.
McGrath shot out of the corner, rimmed out. They used all of the shot clock before they unloaded. Down to just under 30 seconds to play. Kansas is finished at this point on a 23-5 run. Singleton misses long. Red tries to keep it alive, out of bounds, touched by C.B. McGrath with 18 seconds left to play.
Kansas will move to 15-1.
This game was tied at the half, 26-26. Singleton off the glass, got the tip after the initial miss. He has 23, and that equals his high. Singleton, the junior, out of Detroit. Kansas running down the clock. And Kansas has emerged with a win, 69-56.
I really felt like Jim O'Brien did about as good a coaching job as he could do for about 35 minutes. His guys just got a little bit gassed. Kansas turned the pressure up. And to Kansas and Roy Williams' credit, they came out here realizing what they had to do with their star player on the bench. Going to be there for a while. Several guys had to step up. Tonight it was Billy Thomas. Then right at the end it was Paul Pierce. So two big players. Pierce at 6'7" and Billy Thomas 6'4". Maybe they're going to be the two guys to carry him for the next 2 months.
So the final score from Honolulu, 69-56. Kansas over Ohio State. For Larry Conley and our entire ESPN Rainbow Classic crew, I'm Dwayne Stats. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Sports Center is next.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Toyota. Every day belongs to you. Make it count. Toyota, every day.